It's the showdown here in Texas then. Is this the finale or just part one? Will it all continue on to Mexico next week, or will Lewis Hamilton make it a third world title by the time we get to the end of lap 56 here at the Circuit of the Americas this afternoon? The track is now drying, the sun is trying to come out, and we are left with a fascinating race ahead of us. A rather mixed up grid. Ferrari's out of position, 2 Red Bulls in the top 4. The lights going on above the driver's head. It's lights out and away we go. Hamilton, I think, got the better start there. He's already easing alongside his teammate Nico Rosberg. It's going to be 2 Mercedes going wheel to wheel into the first turn. Verstappen into the inside in about 7th, and Hamilton looks to have forced his teammate wide again, and Rosberg has to go off the track, and Hamilton into the lead. Daniil Ricciardo follows him. Daniil Kvyat challenging his teammate as they head down the hill. Rosberg's losing places again. Sergio Perez is up alongside him and ahead of him, and through the S's, Hamilton leads Kvyat now, then Ricciardo, then Perez, and then Rosberg, and making places as well. Sebastian Vettel now looks to me down in about 12th place.
Yeah, Hamilton gone away slightly better, as you say, but he's being challenged now by the 2 Red Bulls. The Mercedes don't have any front grip. They waltzed off the track together with understeer in turn 1. And I'm sure Rosberg will have something to say about it, but they've just arrived with no front grip. They talked about it on the warm-up lap, didn't they?
Well, let's see if in a straight line now, Lewis Hamilton can start to move ahead of that Red Bull of Daniil Kvyat, but equaling his best start in Formula 1, Kvyat is now in a position to challenge for the lead as down the long back straight they go. Hamilton ahead of Kvyat, then comes Ricciardo, in 4th place Perez, then Rosberg, and then Hülkenberg under braking. It looks like to me Rosberg's making a challenge on Daniil Ricciardo into turn 12. There is Sebastian Vettel under pressure from Fernando Alonso, and also Max Verstappen just losing out in that particular battle as the Ferrari start to make its way through the field once more, and we're on board with Nico Rosberg. The worst possible start for a man that's converted only 2 of his previous 9 poles into race victories. He's got it all to do now. As we look now at the start once again,
he goes up the inside now. Let's see if there's any contact. I think they just arrived there with no front grip, and boom, out it goes. A little help off the track, and there at the back we see the Williams spun around, Alonso spun around. They did touch. They did touch. He had to turn out of the corner. It was a proper shove. No, he was running out of space. He didn't turn the steering wheel.
They're waiting for a new nose for Valtteri Bottas as well, and they're changing to the soft compound slick tyre, and that's a gamble Williams have to take, and there's been a coming together there involving the Sauber of Felipe Nasser, and as you can see he's lost half of his front wing.
All tried to claim the same piece of tarmac at the same time. Here we go.
Oh.
So it's the 2 Saubers collecting each other.
Marcus Ericsson going over the front wing of Felipe Nasser. There's a lot of debris now on the track. There goes on the inside Carlos Sainz on Jenson Button. Sainz has had a storming first lap. He's up to 10th place now on this second lap after starting plumb last.
Kvyat ever closer, look.
He certainly is. It was 1.2 seconds the gap at the end of lap 2. I just want to see what the gap is now, because it looks an awful lot less. 0.7 of a second. Kvyat is in DRS range at the moment and can use it to try and reel in Lewis Hamilton. Carlos Sainz has Kimi Raikkonen just ahead of him. You can see the sparks from the Ferrari, not much else with the spray. Just ahead of Raikkonen is Nico Hülkenberg. Is Hülkenberg going to be behind Raikkonen in a moment? I wonder. He's got the inside line for the next turn, but they're going to go wheel to wheel, tiptoe their way around that corner. Now, if Carlos Sainz is a little bit careful and a little bit cautious here, he might be able to nick 2 places at once. Down the inside he turns onto Nico Hülkenberg in the Force India. Good move from Carlos Sainz. He's moved his way past the Force India as we have a virtual safety car, and now everything slows down and the race is neutralized, and I assume because we have so much debris on the track.
Very slippery out here, guys. Is Nico suffering the same thing?
I'll see what feedback I can get. So it looks like the tyre temps are at the very top of their operating window.
Inters are getting hot then. That's why the Red Bull is chasing them. We know it's a great chassis with plenty of downforce.
How was the balance?
All okay. A bit general grip lag, but we're faster than him, so I'll try to get him.
Now the virtual safety car ending message has come up, and at a random time we can go racing again. So now It's lights go green, and we are properly racing. And look, Nico Rosberg is ahead of Daniil Ricciardo, so he's got the jump then on Ricciardo at the start of the second phase of the race.
And I think that's why Lewis was backing them up, brings his teammate into play a little bit more.
On board now with Nico Rosberg, pulls out from behind the spray of the Red Bull. He's now alongside Kvyat, he's now ahead of Kvyat, under braking into the turn 12, that little left-hander, and it's second place now for Nico Rosberg, and he can start to really get after Lewis Hamilton. But Kvyat wants to fight back, and in these slower corners the Red Bull might be a bit better suited at this moment in time. And there's Alex Rossi, not knowing how to keep out of the way. Looked to me like the first two rather got held up a bit, and there goes Daniil Kvyat down on the inside onto Nico Rosberg, but he's gone wide in doing so, and he comes back onto the track with his teammate Daniil Ricciardo now going past him. He's gone from third to fourth, and he was briefly second. Kvyat went for the big move and sadly didn't have the grip to stay on the track and pull it off. But now Nico Rosberg under pressure, this time from Daniil Ricciardo, and Ricciardo shows Kvyat exactly how to get past a Mercedes.
Rosberg's front tyres are gone.
We have DRS.
That was not a safe coming back onto the track.
There we go. It was almost an avoiding move in the beginning, I think. Turned it into an overtaking move. He's got to come on somewhere, Nico. We can't expect him to park up and look for a policeman to help him back on.
There was grass and there was gravel and there was a wall in the way. He was the big loser in that one.
Why I don't get the DRS when I'm so close?
Okay, we'll check fuel 10 for performance, fuel 10 for performance, we'll check.
He's getting angry, isn't he? Now he's off the road as well. So Sainz is within a tenth or two of his teammate, having started at the back of the grid.
First it was Kvyat, then it was Rosberg, now it's Ricciardo, all trying to challenge the race leader. Wonder if this time Lewis Hamilton's going to find himself under even more pressure and maybe surrendering that first place. Back on board with Raikkonen. Raikkonen's having one heck of an afternoon here and trying to avoid the car behind him, which is once again Carlos Sainz. Raikkonen got past the Toro Rosso, but then very, very nearly had a coming together, and Sainz very nearly passed him once more. There's Verstappen just ahead of the Ferrari and the Toro Rosso. Raikkonen has Verstappen just ahead of him. Verstappen's using his DRS, Raikkonen's using his DRS. Sebastian Vettel just ahead. They almost touch, Raikkonen and Verstappen. They got very close indeed. Somehow Verstappen manages to just stay ahead. There goes Sergio Perez, Sebastian Vettel in 5th and 6th. This is the race we wanted. That's the change of leadership out in front. Daniil Ricciardo has now got ahead of Lewis Hamilton. And this is how he got into the lead here. And it's he manages to get overtaking done very quickly indeed when he needs to. He's squirming all over the place there, Martin, really going for it. Hamilton just goes that little bit wide.
Yeah, Lewis had to get out of it there.
Thank you very much. And he is away. Sebastian Vettel is coming under pressure from Max Verstappen, and Verstappen might have a little go into the left-hander here. He does, pulls down into the inside. Sebastian Vettel has to yield as Max Verstappen and the Toro Rosso now gets past the Ferrari, and down the back straight they accelerate now to nearly 200 miles an hour by the end of it, as Sebastian Vettel pulls out to the right-hand side. Kimi Raikkonen with DRS behind, and the DRS of Verstappen looks to be keeping him just ahead of Sebastian Vettel. He's done it into turn 12, but he's overdone it into turn 12, and Vettel might just pick up the pieces again as we go on board with Kimi Raikkonen. Vettel ahead of Verstappen, ahead of Raikkonen, and we're talking about 6th, 7th and 8th here. How long before that Toro Rosso's ahead of the Ferrari again? How long before Rosberg's ahead of Hamilton? Looks like under braking Rosberg's done it down at turn 12, but under acceleration Hamilton gets past. Now Rosberg's having a go into the next right-hander. The two Mercedes fighting it out. This time it's Hamilton that goes slightly off the track. This time it's Rosberg that makes the move stick. Daniil Kvyat now putting Hamilton under pressure, and the championship leader has gone from first now down to third.
Oh!
So, box.
So Hamilton, though, coming in for a change of tyres. Surely, if it's going to slicks, Nico Rosberg will want to get on there first. Should he have, though, Martin, the preferential strategy? He's actually staying out as Hamilton comes in. So Ricciardo pitting, Hamilton coming round turn 17 now. Ricciardo with a 3-second stop. Just looking for Hamilton now, coming round the final turn and making his way along the main straight. We're on board the Red Bull with Kvyat. Here comes Hamilton as Rosberg now gets out of the pits. It's close, but it's not going to be close enough, and Kvyat goes a little bit wide, and Hamilton himself goes wider still, so he's lost out there to Daniil Kvyat. And into the gravel and out of the race goes Kimi Räikkönen. And we have an accident. He's trying to get going again, actually. He's got the sponsor sign in the way. Frantically waggling away. That's not going to do the car any good at all. But he has kept it going. He might just yet rejoin it. Look for all the world that Kimi Räikkönen was out of this race. But those rally skills that he honed, Martin, for a few years, he hasn't forgotten totally. Just
got away from him, kind of in no man's land, really, didn't it?
Almost like a spike of torque, and then the rear end just steps out.
Visor clean at the next stop.
Copy that, Nico, copy that.
He'll be able to see a clear track ahead of him now. Well, Nico Rosberg, he's got ahead of Daniil Ricciardo. We saw Ricciardo struggling a little bit earlier on. We see now Lewis Hamilton get ahead of Daniil Kvyat. 2 Mercedes ahead of 2 Red Bulls. Ricciardo will try and fight back, but now Nico Rosberg leads this US Grand Prix.
If Hamilton wants to win this race, he needs to get rid of Ricciardo in a hurry.
Yeah.
Because Rosberg's now 9, but it's going to be over 10 seconds out front already.
You mean like now, Martin? He's going for it. He's got it. He did it all with pace as Kimi Räikkönen keeps out of the way and gets lapped, and Hamilton puts himself up into second place. That's a real shame for him this afternoon. One Ferrari left then in this race, and it's Sebastian Vettel. Marcus Ericsson, I think, is about to make it 6 cars out of this race. Then Martin, he is stopped by the side of the track, and as you can see there, just after the hairpin at turn 11.
So we've got a full safety car now.
Sebastian Vettel is coming in for a change of tyres. Here's the thing, Martin, that 10-second lead that he had, Nico Rosberg, has now just been wiped out by that safety car. Nico Rosberg will lead them round the penultimate corner. Now that's Rosberg ahead of Hamilton, ahead of Ricciardo and Vettel, and then Kvyat and Max Verstappen. Very nice final turn from him, and he's right on Sebastian Vettel's tail. Hülkenberg just hanging on the back of Verstappen if he can, as down the main straight we go and into turn 1. Rosberg still out in front ahead of Hamilton. Little lock up there from Kvyat, and he goes a bit wide, and Sebastian Vettel has cleared one of the Red Bulls at the first time of asking, and he rather fluffed his lines there, Kvyat, as Vettel sets out to try and catch his teammate from last year, Daniil Ricciardo.
So the new mediums have fired up quicker than the used softs. Vettel's looking in incredible position here.
And you would not put it past Vettel to be challenging right at the end here, but he's got to try and keep pace, hasn't he, with the 2 Mercedes, and cleared Daniil Ricciardo, and he looks like he's going to clear him with ease. As into the next braking zone we go. No, under brakes, Ricciardo manages to stay ahead, and now Sebastian Vettel gets him on the exit of turn 12. Lovely move there from the 4-time world champion, who showed Daniil Ricciardo just a thing or two there, and Ricciardo's not a man who often has to learn, but now here comes Ricciardo back again, and Kvyat now getting involved as well, so it's all switching around. Top 5, Rosberg, Hamilton, Ricciardo, Vettel, and then Kvyat. Sebastian Vettel will have to try again, lock up there into turn 1, and now out of turn 1, here's Sebastian Vettel again, down the hill, swoops past Ricciardo, and will he make it stick this time around, I wonder?
Must have been Ricciardo's tyre smoke we saw then.
Ricciardo is losing out a bit here. Verstappen has managed to get past him. I think Ricciardo's maybe starting to struggle a little bit out there. He's down in 5th place.
The top 4 didn't pit.
There goes Hülkenberg down the inside on Daniil Ricciardo. Have they come together? Yes, they have, and Hülkenberg has lost out. Trying to make the move on Daniil Ricciardo. Nico Hülkenberg's car is damaged, and he is out of this race. The gap was there.
It was. He's already got a broken front wing before he arrives, look. Hülkenberg's already got a damaged front wing. That's probably why he didn't have enough grip at the front there. You know what? That's just a racing incident on a slippery day.
Right, so Nico Rosberg deciding to pit as well behind the virtual safety car. So the race leader now coming in for his pit stop.
Of course, under a virtual safety car, it doesn't make as much difference, does it, as the real safety car, where it backs the pack up into a crocodile. Yeah, the last thing those 4 needed that didn't pit on the last car, I should say, is another virtual or actual safety cars. played badly for them, played very well for Sebastian Vettel.
The virtual safety car is now ending.
And Hamilton's got no option but to try to get to the end now, has he, surely?
The two cars around him have both made their pit stop that will see them through to the end of this race. There's Jenson Button running in 5th place at the moment. Sergio Perez is under pressure from Button's teammate Fernando Alonso. Alonso goes down the inside into turn 1. Alonso wanted racing. He's not had the racing he wants so far this year, but there's a cracking move from the two-time champion there into turn 1. Nico Rosberg goes through and past Sebastian Vettel at the end of the back straight. Manages to stay ahead of the Ferrari as well as they get on the power once more out of that second gear left-hand corner. And now we should see him start to pull away that bit more. There's an awful lot that could happen between now and the checkered flag here in Austin. There goes Daniil Kvyat, and Kvyat has gone into the Armco coming out of the penultimate corner, and that's quite a big impact into the Armco. Safety car is out straight away. You see there Ricciardo going through. He has gone onto the artificial grass. 8 drivers out of this US Grand Prix. We have 12 still running.
Yeah, he took too much curb on the apex. And then he just lit it up, didn't he, on the Astro?
Right, now they will pit Lewis Hamilton behind the safety car. So it's not going to be as big a penalty for him behind the safety car. Hamilton and Vettel both stop. Rosberg then goes ahead of Lewis Hamilton once more. We're going racing once again as the safety car pulls away and the lights go green, and Nico Rosberg leads the field then round the final corner to complete lap 46. There's Fernando Alonso right on the tail of Sebastian Vettel. Great restart from Nico Rosberg, increases his advantage down the straight. Looking in his mirrors, Max Verstappen wants to know where Sebastian Vettel is. He's alongside you, young man, but he's not alongside you enough to make the move down into turn 1 and take 3rd place off you. And pulling out Sebastian Vettel on Max Verstappen, and with the power of the new Ferrari engine in the back of that car, Vettel moves up into 3rd place. Behind them, there goes Maldonado and Button getting very close down at turn 12. Button has to leave the track but stays ahead of the Lotus only just. There goes Sainz on the inside, trying to get in on the act as well. Button under huge pressure here from both Maldonado and the youngster Carlos Sainz. Rosberg just went a little bit wide and the lead has changed hands, because there is Nico Rosberg, and out in front is Lewis Hamilton. We'll show you now how it happened on board with Rosberg.
He lit the rear tyres up, and that's put Hamilton into the World Championship position, and Vettel's right behind him though.
Here we see Ricciardo going down the inside on Sainz. Button just hangs back a little bit, might just nick through on the inside and take 2 cars in once. Yes, he does. Jenson Button, fantastic move from him. There goes Sainz down the inside, locks up. Can Jenson Button, under power, get out of the corner quicker? No, he can't. Hamilton round the final corner. Hamilton, the race winner here in Austin. It's the US Grand Prix for Lewis Hamilton. It's a 1-2 for Mercedes. It's a 1-2-3. Hamilton, Rosberg and Vettel. It is the championship in 2015 for Lewis Hamilton. It is back-to-back championships for both Mercedes-Benz and their British driver, and he is now a 3-time world champion, Lewis Hamilton.
Okay, Lewis, I think you've done it, mate. Just need to see what Nico does. That is it. World champion, pal. World champion.
3 times world champion, Lewis.
You've only gone and done it, mate. Yeah, I'm feeling it, pal. I'm feeling it.
How good does that sound, Lewis? 3 times world champion.
That's the greatest moment of my life. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for everything you guys do. I'm just so grateful. Thank you. To my family, I love you all. Thank you.
His 164th Grand Prix, led a Grand Prix for his 82nd time. Exactly half of the races that he has started, he has gone on to lead, and he's now a 3-time world champion. For the first time since 1973, Britain has a 3-time world champion. The reality sinking in for Lewis Hamilton, and then I think for Nico Rosberg as well, who was in no mood for any playful banter or exchanges.
We can just see how much it means to him.
the first British driver to successfully defend his World Championship in a weekend where it's been raining non-stop. It is now pouring bubbles for Lewis Hamilton, champion in 2015.